We have with us Nivedita Poddar, and we are going to talk about the idea of what Sudhanva kind of left with, the idea of art and technology, the idea of accessibility to art. So, Nivedita, just to start off with, uh, how was pre-pandemic art creation, curation, and dissemination different from a post-pandemic creation, curation, and dissemination? Because Art Forward is a digital art guide, and if you talk about it a little bit, then I think we can move into that direction.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for your question, Ms. Banerjee, and thank you so much for having me. I really want to take a moment to thank Anushka, who I took very long to respond to because I was traveling. And thank you for your patience, Anushka, with my late responses. Just a little bit on Art Fervor. Uh, I'm only 4 years out of university myself. And one of the reasons why I started Art Fervor was because I felt the information available for a lot of the arts, and here I come from a visual arts background, was extremely limited. And if you don't have information to something, it's very hard to access it. Whether it's attending exhibitions in the city you're in, or museums or galleries. And Art Fervor was started with this vision to make the arts accessible, not only in terms of making what's happening around you accessible, but also how do we sort of break through the way art is written about, the way exhibitions are made, the way museums show art, and how do we make it accessible to a larger audience. And I think to answer your question about art and technology, I think this might be a very unique perspective that we bring as a technology platform from Mr. Deshpande, but we truly believe that the pandemic has been very nurturing to make the arts more accessible. I don't think we would have. I'm just going to show an example. So the Kiranatha Museum of Art is, I don't know how many people here are familiar with it. It's one of the largest private museums in the country. They have an absolutely amazing art collection, and they are very generous. Everything is always up to view for free, but that's only if you are in New Delhi. So just to demonstrate what I'm going to move on to with an example is, I'm just going to share my screen, please bear with me. Had we been having this conversation in 2019, 2020, this is what we would have had access to via technology. This is the Kiranatha Museum of Art, and this is a retrospective of the extremely established Arpita Singh. And now I'm going to move on to, can I be heard still?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And now I'm going to move on to what the Kiranatha Museum of Art has today. This is an exhibition that is on right now in Delhi of Zarina Hashmi, who is, again, a very, very celebrated artist. I hope that it's translating well on the screen share. But so the pandemic has made accessibility, interaction to the arts so much easier using digital platforms, using technology than ever before. Because what if I am unable to be in Delhi? I'm unable to go to the museum even if I'm in Delhi. But at the same time, if I have the wish to look at a Zarina Hashmi exhibition, this is the this is what technology can do for us. So I'm just going to stop the share. Coming back to what you asked about the dissemination of art, this is one small example of how museums have made it easier for us to look at art. But again, I would focus on how also now digital has become a new playground for artists. You know, we discussed this before, that if you have an exhibition or a play or performing theater and you take a video, you take an image and you upload it on technology, that's not true anymore. Technology is where art is being created, and some of this art cannot exist outside of technology. So pre-pandemic, we may not have seen this happen. I think it's definitely given a push to a lot of artists to use digital as their only medium, which may not have been true earlier. I'm going to show another example here. Olafur Eliasson is a very large international, large scale installation artist, and he works with elemental materials. So this is, and he also works a lot in the space of public art. This is a couple of the works that he's made, which was in the Museum of Contemporary Art in Tokyo in 2017. And last year for Earth Day 2020, which was, we were already in the pandemic, the studio then created this piece of art, which is only accessible online. So I don't know if that translated well and everyone could actually experience it on the screen share. But here is an example of an artist who truly believes that the viewer is part of the artwork. And of course, putting aside the fact that Olafur Eliasson is one of the biggest international artists and the ability to use technology at this rate, but surely it's inspiring to other artists as well, that this Earth Day artwork that he created, he's managing to still make the viewer a part of the work using technology. So, I mean, moving forward, are we going to go back to a non-digital visual art space? Probably not. I truly believe that the space is now going to become hybrid because we have accessibility sitting here today. We have accessibility to what's going on in the museums in New York. We know what's happening in Delhi. For example, SSLA has audio plays that I can access, which I may not have been able to access before. So it is, as a technology startup ourselves and trying to make the arts in India accessible just to people within the city. Earlier, Art Forward was, we were like, okay, we are in 5 cities in India now, we're in 7 cities now, we're in 10 cities now. But when we pivoted to digital, you in India can now access over 500 exhibitions, virtual tours, artist resources, learning resources, which are all free on our website. So it surely has also changed how we curate things. And I would also say that a viewer's engagement patterns would also has also evolved and changed along with how we with the transformation of curation and dissemination of art.
Right. Thanks, Nivedita. Those examples were fantastic. I think from what you were saying and from Olaf's use of digital space, I have just 2 questions for you. One is what I was asking Sudhanva as well. The need to talk about and decode art and vis-a-vis the accessibility. Is accessibility limited to the physical or geographical access to art? Or is it even simultaneous to understanding art itself? Let's say, looking at something straight in front of you and looking it via a medium. One is that. And second is, are you finally kind of finding responses by the artists themselves to create digital art? Olaf is one example. But what's happening in India? If you could just talk about, if it makes sense.
Yeah, sure. So I truly believe that the issue of accessibility is much larger than just physical or geographical. As someone who may not be very familiar with the arts, it's very hard to take that step into a museum or a gallery. You enter a gallery, you're handed a press release. And I did a master's in art history. I don't know how many people understand the gallery press releases. And that's one of the main points of accessibility that we wanted to tackle. That unless it is relatable, understandable on some level, you're never going to go to the next level of understanding more, of experiencing more. And of course, it is physical, it is geographical. One of the things that really stayed back with me that Mr. Deshpande said, that if you are physically unable to go to a gallery or museum, there are very few spaces that allow you to actually go and visit because they are not designed for the disabled. So has technology made it easier for a lot of people to access art? Yes, there is so much still, other than, I would say, 7 to 8 cities in India. Of course, there are a few museums, but having that accessibility to much more in India, much more internationally, you can learn more as well. So one of the, I have another example that I wanted to show, which was Indian, is the Tark Gallery in Bombay did this exhibition with this artist, Garima Gupta. She's a very young artist. And if you watch closely this video, these works are multi-layered and they are graphite on paper. But if you watch this, this has been translated for the digital as well. So this is how it looks installed. And that's when you see all the multi-layers. And then if you can't be there physically, so I would certainly say that artists are adapting to the digital. And I don't just mean as a way to put up images of their work or put up videos of their work, but also to look at it as a world of its own and create works that exist just in the digital space.